Here are a couple of easy chords that you can try. Now the G chord, a full G chord, is all the way across, but we're just going to be playing with our third finger on the 3rd fret of string 1, and that is a G note. So if you play these 3 strings, you still get a G chord. You can add another note to that by moving that to the next string and putting your little finger where that one was, and then still play the same 3 strings. Hear the difference? You're just adding a D note. Still a G chord. Now the other chord you can play is a C. Now this is a little bit more tricky for beginners, because what you need to do is you need to make sure that that finger is upright. You don't want to lay it down. It doesn't want to be laid down, because you need 3 strings. You don't want to be putting that finger on there and let it touch that string. So you don't want this. You've got to make sure it's up in the air. So that's all 3. Your finger is wider going across that way than it is that way. So you've got to try and make sure your finger is like that, not like that, if you can help it. A bit more like that. Obviously my hands are bigger and I can get across and grip the neck. So if you want to get your thumb around the back, so my thumb is just creeping down the back, and you can, and then to the C. Now if you've got a plectrum, use it, but if you haven't, don't worry. Now with a plectrum, just strum those 3 strings there. Now I do advise that you keep looking at this end more than this end, because this is the end that your hands are going to be moving around all the time. This end, it just consistently stays in the same place. And you don't want to move your whole arm. Just move from your wrist. Plant your wrist on this black thing here, which is called a bridge. Just rest it on there, and you'll get used to return to the same place. There's the same place. You could do that with your eyes closed after a while, because you'll just know where you are. You won't accidentally hit those. Just those 3 strings. So playing the G chord, you get this. Now if you play with your thumb, you can play like this. You can play it with your finger, just like this. Again, rest your hand on the guitar at some point. You don't really want to hit those strings because it won't sound very nice. Just that. And you can also do that other G chord with the 2 fingers. Now the idea here is to go from the G chord to the C chord without stopping this string ringing. You don't want that happening, like we spoke about. So from G, we try this. So it's down, 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 down. Down strums, just like this. Now, of course, you don't have to go that fast. You can go really, really slowly if you want to, just to get used to the changing. Now, I'll do the same thing with my thumb. And then with the plectrum. And of course you can do a different G with your 2 fingers. G to C, really simple. Just take your time on it and just count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you can, use a metronome. You can get metronomes on mobile phones, the mobile phone apps, tablets, even metronomeonline.com on the internet. I think it's a Google search and there it'll come, metronomeonline.com. Here is my simple metronome. metronome, simple metronome. There you go. That's the one I'm going to use. I've set the metronome to 86 beats per minute. 60 beats per minute will be 1 beat every second. So obviously this is slightly faster, but of course you set the metronome to the tempo that you feel that is more comfortable to you. Here we go. This is 86 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go, just a simple change from G to C using partial chords, not full chords. We're just doing partial chords, little ones. Some cases that is quite difficult because you don't want to hit these other strings with your plectrum or your fingers or your thumb. It can be quite tricky. So it's just generally doing that. The other thing you can do is imagine yourself changing the chord and doing exactly what I just did there. Hold the plectrum in between the D and the G string, rest on top of the G string and just go. So you know that you're returning to that G string all the time. You're not hitting the other strings like that. Just you can make it snappy or drag it. There's so many different ways you can do this. Anyway, have fun.